again,
You keep saying that, but you're not there. I'm just trying to figure out how is you to say somebody came out here if you're not there? That's the
well,
thing.
I mean, well, I will say this, Miss Rucker. I mean, somebody can report to her now. I mean, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
the problem. Ain't nobody came out here. That's the thing. Other than when the one plumber came, that's been the only time that somebody's been out here.
All right, hey Rucker, can Miss Francis, can you get off the phone? Thank you so much. Can you both raise your right hand for me? You swear or affirm to tell the truth under penalty and perjury of the law?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I do.
All right, I'm going to ask each of you some questions. No need to speak over one another. All right, so Miss Francis, does Four Lions of Abyssinia have a written lease with Miss Rucker?
Yes, they do.
Okay, and is it expired, or is it when does it expire, or is it month to month right now?
No, it's she just moved in, I think, in June, so she has a year lease.
Okay, how much is monthly rent?
1,800.
Is there a late fee?
Yes, 180.
Last time the tenant paid rent?
August.
Okay. All right, so 2 months, 13 days. I don't think I saw anything else on your complaint. So let me speak with Miss Rucker. Just want to confirm, Miss Rucker, do you have a written lease with the Four Lions of Abyssinia for $1,800 a month?
Yes.
Is there $180 late fee to your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. Last time you paid rent from any source?
Say that again, please.
The last time you paid rent from any source. So whether you or somebody else.
The what is it? The last month that she stated was the last month that I paid rent.
All right. So tell me about. I know you said I looked in your answer. You said you held rent on purpose. What's going on?
I have plumbing problems for the past 2 months. The plumbing issue is upstairs bathroom where when we use the showers upstairs, the water will back up and come up through the sink downstairs in the kitchen, and it will stay there for a couple days. So, and then it eventually go down. And then I had been buying Drano, but I had notified them of this issue. And the plumber had came out and let them know that maybe, the lines need to be flushed. But, upon that was a back and forth thing of making it seem like we poured grease in the lines and things of that nature. But I told her that I wasn't going to pay rent until these problems were fixed.
Okay. And you didn't have anybody fix it. You just essentially, and she didn't have anybody fix it either, or somebody came by but they didn't fix it, or was it fixed?
It hasn't been fixed. The plumber that the last time the plumber came out and seen the problem, it hasn't been fixed.
Okay, please. Yeah. Okay, and is it like when you say sewage? Is it like fecal matter, or is it just backing up?
Just backing it up. It's no fecal. Let's just say there's pretty much a shower and a sink. So when we use the shower and the sink, so you can tell that it has this, it's like it's stopped up because it'll start having a puddling effect at the bottom of the tub. But then it's like when you go downstairs, it's the water is coming up through the drain into the kitchen sink and it fills up. Like I have videos of it. It fills up and it stays filled up like that, both sides, for a couple days. And then after maybe like 2.5 days, it'll be done gone down or whatever. And the
do you only have one bathroom, or?
Yeah, we have two. Well, it's 2.5. It's a 2.5 bath. So both upstairs have showers and full bath.
Okay. All right. Well, let me hear from Miss Francis. Were you guys aware of the plumbing issue?
Judge, let me start from the beginning. Miss Rucker moved into the property in June. In July, there was an issue with a tree going into the outside into the the drain line backing up into the property. It was initially an HOA issue. So we had went ahead and took care, had a plumber come out and took care of everything, exactly what she said in the happened. We had a plumber that came out and completely did everything. Everything was solved. The HOA took care of the part, which it cost us over $3,000 on our end alone to fix that issue. Then the HOA had to pay a plumber to clean the main line outside, which the HOA paid almost $9,000 to get that done. Everything was completely done. We gave Miss Rucker in July. We gave Miss Rucker $1,000. She only paid $800 for her inconvenience. She was saying that yes, we agreed that happened. We did give her $1,000 off for her rent in July when that happened. Okay, everything was fine. She said everything was done, and she paid rent in August. So this happened in July, and she paid rent in August after the HOA paid, resolved that case. We paid, resolved that case. Then she in August, she called and said that her sink was backing up. We went out there. I went out there personally. She called I think a plumber or somebody else who initially had worked on the job. When I got out there, she would not allow me to come into the property. So I met the plumber at the door, and he told me, he said, I said, is it the problem that we paid you guys for to do initially? He said, no. Everything else, as far as the upstairs and the bathrooms and the toilets and everything, he said, all that is resolved. That is not the issue. He said, the issue is the sink. He said, the sink is backed up because it looked like there's grease and a whole bunch of stuff that's going into the property. We have another property manager who's also dealing with Miss Rucker. The property manager went out there. She would not allow the property manager into the property because Miss Rucker has other people, a whole bunch of people living in the property who's not on her lease. She also have a dog on the property that's not on her lease. She would not allow me access. She would not allow the other property manager access to the property. The plumber, when I met out there, told me that she could take care of that grease thing, whatever is going on in that sink. She could take care of it herself. I called her and I told her, I said, well, we are not responsible for you having food down in the sink, grease in the sink, and extra people in there doing a whole bunch, whatever they're doing in your sink. We're not responsible for that. Okay. She decided she wasn't going to pay. The other property manager, a week ago, before we filed the eviction, went by the property, said, okay, let's just go ahead and take care of it. She would not allow nobody into the property. She would not allow the other property manager, and that's who was trying to get onto the court as a witness.
All right.
Yes. So the issue that she's complaining about, that has been resolved. This is one new issue with the sink that she's responsible for.
I got it. Hold tight. So first things, one, Miss Rucker, has anybody from code enforcement come out and said anything?
So the incident she's talking about is the first incident that occurred when I did move in. I called
but since that time, since that's been resolved, has code enforcement been about your sink?
I put in for code enforcement to come out, but I haven't received my call back.
Okay.
So nobody has been out yet. I did put in a call for somebody.
So let me tell you, if your sink is backed up, that's something, but that's not going to deem the property uninhabitable. Not if you've got other sinks and things and it can go down. That's not an uninhabitable. That's not going to be justified for you to keep all the rent. I know she's saying that it could be on you, it could be on them. Obviously, it's important for you, if they've come, and to let them in to do that work. I do know that it becomes, once things are contentious, people don't want the people in the property, and it becomes problem, or people come over unannounced. I understand that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some credit, but the property is not uninhabitable, so it doesn't justify you paying no rent. And with you not having access to the sink for a period of time where it can be addressed, You may have, not legal advice, but you could have been better off probably just paying a plumber $100, $200 to try to undo the sink yourself, and then just justifiably writing it off your rent and paying nothing. But I'm going to give you some credit. It's not going to be a whole lot because it doesn't sound like it's a real permanent impairment to the overall occupancy of the property. But let me see what it's looking like since you paid in August and you're missing these 2 months.
Can I say something to you, Judge?
Yes,
It's not that. It's the fact that the upstairs, the plumber said that it needs to be flushed. Like the part what she's talking about is a downstairs bathroom area that had a problem. There's a system where the roots were in that problem. Upstairs, the plumber says that he feel like it may be some of those non-flushable wipes, and maybe the line needs to be flushed. It has nothing to do with grease being trapped.
Well, why do you have non-flushable wipes in there?
No, it's not me. No, it's not me. It's from previous tenants. This is from previous tenants. These are from previous tenants. Like he feels like the line needs to be flushed. That way it'll be enough free flowing for it to be able to push the water through.
Did he tell you how much that would cost?
No, he didn't. This is the same plumber that was used from the get-go. He's the one who came out here to the property. He came in, went upstairs, he checked that area. Then, I explained to him about, how the process was going. Like when we take a shower, maybe every couple days, the water would fill up through the sink. He said he feels like the lines need to be flushed. Yes, he worked on the bottom bathroom. Yes, that took care of that. That's not a problem. The problem, like I said, is it's like bath water and stuff is coming through the line. It's like something's blocking the line up.
But I'll be frank with you. That is not going to be a basis to withhold all of the rent. But I am going to give you some credit. The total judgment without the credit, it would have been $4,740. I'm going to make the judgment $4,500 in lieu of the issues with the water. That'll be through the 13th of November. But I'll be frank, what you've expressed to me may have been able to be resolved for far less than that. You know what I mean?
I didn't have a problem paying my rent. I told him to come fix. That's the thing I kept saying, come fix the property. And it seemed like it's always been a combative thing about getting something done. That's the problem. Like I never had a problem paying my rent. If you come out here and fix your property, I give you your money. That's been the issue. And then when they come out here,
can I tell you something, Ms. Rucker? That's always an issue. I'll be frank. Because there's always an issue. People want things fixed. Landlord want to say it's your fault. And I'm not saying this situation. That's just a common situation. But unfortunately, your decision in withholding all the rent, because there are things you could have done. You just didn't know. It doesn't sound like you just didn't know what to do. But you could have paid it for yourself and potentially deducted it. And then you wouldn't have had this problem. But you didn't know that and you just held it all. There are things that you can do like repair and deduct for those kind of, particularly when it doesn't sound like they're $9,000, $8,000 type fixes, right? Less than your full month's rent. And that's available to you. It's just that when you don't exercise that, then you lose the ability to do that. And so now it look like you just don't pay no rent. And I know you're like, well, I could, but when you don't, you don't.
In your honor, right before the eviction was filed, the other property manager went out to the property to fix the problem, to see what's going, and she wouldn't let nobody into the property.
Okay. Well, again,
you keep saying that, but you're not there. I'm just trying to figure out how is you to say somebody came out here if you're not there? That's the thing.
Well, I will say this, Ms. Rucker. Somebody can't report to her now. That's what I'm saying.
That's the problem. Ain't nobody came out here. That's the thing. Other than when the one plumber came, that's been the only time that somebody's been out here. That's the thing. Like they keep saying they came, they never showed. That was the only time when that plumber who fixed the property the first time, her and him, that was the only time. Ain't nobody that's been out here. They ain't know. That's the thing. Like, do you know about the problem, but you ain't been out here to fix the problem other than the one time that the plumber came out here and you told the plumber to tell me to use Drano to fix the problem.
So Miss Rucker, and from the evidence, just as I'm finished writing this up, is that I think there's a dispute about what they believe is who's the cause of it. And now I will tell you, Miss Francis, that seems to be disputed. It would still be your responsibility to fix it if it's not clear that it's on her. That's why she's still getting some credit. But the point is, Miss Rucker, the overall issue isn't big enough from what has been discussed to where it would justify all of the rent being withheld. That's what I'm
Yes,
really
you-
getting on.
Yes, Your
So,
Honor, because
so hold on. I don't want to hear no more, frankly. You guys have talked a lot. So it'll be a money judgment for $44,500. The writ of possession will be on the 13th. You always have 7 days to appeal, Ms. Rucker, from a judgment. And that'll be the order of the court. You guys will get a copy in your email. You both are free to go.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.